Hi, everyone. Yad habere she ya Marsha Gray eyes in a she can change legal to a genie machine, Lagat and the chain or she national. Shanto the Ianasha. And I want to thank you all for attending today's webinar with our very own Kristine Laughter. Before we start, I'm going to talk a little bit about Change Labs and what we do here. So Change Labs, what we do is we provide 5 programs, and we share a workspace, tools, resources, and knowledge, and also intangible things such as business coaching and various other things related to building knowledge. So one of the questions that we get a lot is, how do I start a business? And what we do is normally it's questions centering around registering with the Navajo Nation, registering with the state of Arizona, or even getting their EIN numbers. So our business coaching is every Monday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is Mountain Daylight Time. You can visit our website, nativestartup.org/events to schedule an appointment with a business coach. And another program we have is our Business Incubator program. This is a year-long program where an entrepreneur or a startup or a business that's needing help with running their business in terms of learning the technical nature related to maybe financials, marketing, and so forth. We provide them with workshops, knowledge, one-on-one coaching, and we go through, and they go through the program. And at the end of the year, they graduate, do a little pitch for us, and pass on knowledge that way. So another question that we get a lot of is, how do I create a website? And here we have a resident designer, and generally this year it's Mariah Ashley. I'm not sure who it is next year. We haven't selected one yet. But basically, we have people consult with Mariah and get an idea of what type of website would work for them, or if maybe just vamping up their social media presence would be helpful. So there's a series of questioning, a series of audits that are done to kind of pinpoint what would work best for a business, an individual. We also have a YouTube channel. We have more than 30 videos on our YouTube channel. We ask you to subscribe. A lot of our workshops, our previous workshops, are posted on there. And just about anything you might have a question on is pretty much on there. How do I get help running my business? This is another question that we get a lot of. We have a creative co-working space located into the city. Currently, we're closed. I'd like to put that in parentheses because I am there right now. And if you happen to be coming by, walking in, you may walk in and I'll still help you. So what we provide is desk space, color printing. If you want to make buttons for promotional materials, you can. We also offer monthly, actually bi-weekly training. And the whole idea is to build an entrepreneur community within Western Agency. We also have an app out there called Res Rising. It's like a yellow page / one-page website is how I would describe this. It's like a Facebook page, but not entirely. It talks about your business, where you're located, how people can reach you, and what your business is. So you can register your business on Res Rising. We have over 600 people currently, or businesses. And if you have any more questions, you can always email me at marsha@nativestartup.org. And we'd like to ask you to stay on mute until Q&A. Type your questions in the chat if you should think of a question, well, the presentation is in progress, and this session is being recorded and it will be put on YouTube. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Kristine. Kristine is one of our business coaches and also the Kinship Lending Director for Change Labs. And she will be talking about, I have a business idea, what's next?
Well, great. Well, thank you so much, Marcia. And welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar. So that this is a question that we seem to get quite a bit. So, well, first of all, let me start off by introducing myself. Yat she Kristine Laughter, Yanashia. Nakai didn't initially, though touching no dot didn't touching, Bush's chin. Kiani Deshachate, or is it Lena Deshanella? I am originally from the community of Kayenta, Arizona. That's where I grew up, and I have roots there. I have my parents are in Kayenta as well. And so, as you know, Kayenta is a unique community on the Navajo Nation. And, I've just seen so many things happen within our community. And, I just want to make sure that people across the Navajo Nation also see opportunities with starting businesses. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. So I had been in the banking industry for many years, for over 15 years. I worked with, started out with a credit union and then moved over to Wells Fargo Bank. On the Navajo Nation, I managed branches on the Navajo Nation in Winslow. I worked with business banking in Flagstaff, Arizona. And some of the things that I noticed when I was in banking, I would get a lot of people who would ask questions when they'd come into the branch. They wanted to know, first of all, they wanted to come in and apply for a loan. And when you come into a bank and you want to apply for a loan, one of the things that we ask for, or the banks will ask for, is they want to see your financials. They want to see how long you've been in business. They want to see that you file your taxes. And really what they're looking for is they're looking for how you're drawing revenue or how much money you're making every year, because you need to pay that loan back. And so people would ask that question, how can I get a loan to start my business? And so what would happen is I would ask them about their financials. They didn't have any information, but then we'd go on and talk about what it is that they want to do. And a lot of times businesses would have, or not businesses, but entrepreneurs would have these really great ideas, and they would come and have a lot of great ideas around starting a business, but they just didn't have the capital to do it. They didn't have anything set up. They didn't go through it to test their idea. They just were coming in with an idea. So what I'm going to share with you today is a little bit about my experience with dealing with small businesses and what I've been able to do since then. I left Wells Fargo Bank, and then I was able to manage a business incubator for Navajo Technical University, the Navajo Tech Innovation Center, which is located in Church Rock, New Mexico, and it's part of Navajo Technical University out of Crown Point. And we had a office space for small businesses. I had went through the process of interviewing 8 small business owners. They came in, rented space from us, and we provided resources for them, and also just provided space for them, because as you all know, getting space for a small business on the Navajo Nation, it can be very difficult. So I was able to do that. And during that time, I was able to connect with Heather and Jessica over at Change Labs, which was a really good thing. And now, all these few years later, I'm actually working with Change Labs, and it's such a wonderful program to be part of. So what we're going to talk about today is how to determine if your idea is viable. And I'm going to use a tool we call the business model canvas, and we're just going to use a very small part of that um, business model canvas because it can take quite a length amount of time to go over the whole canvas. And then we're going to go over how to register your business on the Navajo Nation, how to apply for business site lease, and how to apply for priority certification on the Navajo Nation. And if there's anyone out there that, for example, if we have any Hopi participants, I do have some contact information on Hopi. And if you're from another tribe, we definitely can help you research that information if you need to get that additional information for the tribe that you're in. But for today, we're specifically talking about Navajo business. So how to determine if your idea is viable. So if you have an idea and you think, gosh, I really think this is such a great idea. I've been talking to people and people are giving me good feedback. And I really think that I can start a business with my idea. So when you are thinking about starting a business, what I would recommend is to look for some tools to kind of help you go through your idea. Like I said, the business model canvas is a tool that we use, and I'll be showing that next. But there are some segments or some parts of that business model canvas that I do want to review with everyone today. Some of the questions that we ask small business owners is, who are your customers, or who will your customers be? Um, when you have an idea, who is going to be paying you for your business idea? Who is going to give you money for either the product or the service that you have to offer? So who are your customers? And really, where are your customers? Just in the time that I've been with Change Labs, it's really interesting to listen and have conversations with small business owners who are located across the US. I have a Navajo customer or a Navajo client that is out of Washington because her plan is to move back to the Navajo Nation, and she has this idea. And then we have, of course, clients that are living on the Navajo Nation who say, I want to do this. I see that there's a problem here, and this is what I want to offer. So who are your customers? And where are they coming from? So when you think about coming and doing business on the Navajo Nation, there's a lot of different opportunities for many business owners on the Navajo Nation. And so you can take a look at that. What I've talked to business owners about doing when you're looking at who is your customer is, take some time to maybe create a survey, even if it's just something that you're going to create on a piece of paper and you go and talk to people about your idea. It's a good way just to start to have that conversation with people and find out if they would be interested in the product that you offer. I always think about a story regarding a business, or actually a group of individuals who were thinking about starting a business. And one person had this idea, and it really had to do with a pitch competition. They were doing this pitch competition using the business model canvas. And so what they did was they said, well, this is a problem we're trying to solve, and I will get to that next. And they said, well, we need to ask potential customers what they think about this, and if they would use this, and if they see value in it. And so that's what they did. They went out to ask customers questions, or potential customers the questions, and find out if their business was going to be a viable business. So that is something that you will want to do. You want to take some time to do that in the very beginning, and when you're starting your business, because you may be a small business who has already started, or maybe you're thinking, gosh, what can I do differently than my competition? Maybe you're that business owner that does beading, for example, and maybe you have a large array. Your selection is very big, and maybe it's something that people see that, wow, I like this person's beadwork because of the way that they add a certain item to the work, or maybe it's even the packaging, maybe it's the way that you deliver the packaging to the customer. And so you think about who you're going to be selling these products to. And so think about that when you're looking at that question of who are your customers. The next thing we'll look at is what value do you deliver to your customer? The value proposition that is part of the business model canvas is really the heart of the business model canvas, and I'll show you that in just a bit. Well, actually, Marcia, if you want to just forward that to the business model canvas, it's on the next slide, and then I can kind of come back to this slide. So if you look at this business model canvas, and it is by Strategizer. If you guys all want to go to the website, strategizer.com, and you can actually look at all the tools that Strategizer has. This is definitely something that is helpful. It's something we use with the members of our business incubator, and you can sign up and get this at no charge on this website. So as I was talking about, you'll look over here on this side where the customer segments are, and then this is the value proposition. And when you're looking and thinking about starting a business, like I said, you might have maybe 5 or 10 others out there that are doing the exact same business that you are doing. But what you want to think about is, what value do you offer? What value can you offer your customers? What's going to differentiate you from your competition? So one of the things that I was talking about was, if you're doing some beading work and you want to differentiate yourself from your competition, well, maybe it's the way that you package your product. Maybe you're going to package the product in some nice tissue paper, put a sticker with your business logo on there, and put a thank you card in there, and then send it out to your customer. I mean, that is different than somebody who just hands you a white box with your earrings in it. So think about that. Think about how you will differentiate yourself. And when you are looking at what value you can offer, like I said, doing something different, having a certain type of packaging, or even I knew of one business owner, I mean, like 5 or 6 years ago, that was starting her own jewelry business, and everyone else was out there was doing the same thing, making either the silversmith jewelry, silver jewelry with stones, or the beading. One of the things that she did was she was offering a guarantee. So she told people, if you buy and purchase these earrings from me or this necklace from me, I will give you a guarantee. If this item breaks, in your lifetime or my lifetime, I will repair it at no charge. And this is what she offered, and she did. She shared like testimonials from customers who said, yes, I did buy this from this from this person, this business owner, and she did repair it when it was broken. If something broke on earrings or necklace, she repaired that for them. So that is something that will differentiated her from her competition, as she was able to offer that guarantee. I've heard other situations where somebody who maybe makes fashions, native fashions, they sent an order to an individual, and the shirt didn't fit. So she said, you know what, send it back. I'll pay for the shipping. I'll fix it for you. I'll make it so it does fit you. And she sent it back. And, right there, she's satisfying her customers and making sure that she's taking care of her customers, standing behind her name, because really, when you have a business, it's your business name that really, at the end of the day, that's what you have. And so, when you're taking care of your customers, you want to make sure that you are doing things that your customers will remember you by. So think about the value proposition that you can write for your business. Again, what value do you bring? And what is it that you are doing that is going to make you stand out in the business, in everything that's going on out there? You know, people will remember you. People will remember the service that you provide to them, the communication that you have. You know, think about if you've ever been in a situation where you were trying to contact somebody that you purchase either a product or a service for, and when that person or the company does not get back to you and you're just so frustrated, think about that. Think about that feeling that you have, and what is it that is going through your mind? Well, personally, for me, if I'm in that situation, I'm thinking, I am never going to deal with this business again. I am never going to come back to them. You know, this is just, you know, something I don't want to deal with. On the other hand, if I ran into a problem with the business and they reached out to me first and they said, Kristine, we know that you ordered this product from us, and you know we apologize, but we're having a little bit of delay in getting this product out in the mail. So you should be receiving this in the next 2 weeks or within 2 weeks or so. And so with that, when you're proactive reaching out to your customers, you know, again, that's going to differentiate you from your competition. So just really think about that when you're dealing with how your customers see you and what it is that they value. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is, which one of your customers' problems are you helping to solve? So when we talk about solving a customer's problem, some of the things that come to mind are when a customer is trying to, let's see, I'm trying to think of how we look at this. Okay, so the business that I was talking about earlier that was doing the pitch with the business model canvas, the problem that this group of students saw was that I know, and this doesn't really apply to Navajo regarding babies. I mean, when we have babies on Navajo, I mean, they stay right next to us, at least with me, my daughters, they slept by me when they were infants. But, you know, outside of Navajo, people, moms and dads would put the babies in a crib in a separate room, right? And so what these individuals saw was, well, how do you monitor the baby? How do you monitor a little newborn to make sure that this little newborn, you know, is healthy ultimately, are that they're breathing and that they're not having any issues. So what this company did was, or these individuals, this is when they were going through the whole process, the problem they wanted to solve was, well, we want to make young moms and dads, early moms and dads, first time moms and dads comfortable when they go to sleep. And we want them to be able to have a way to track and monitor their little infant, their newborn baby. So they developed this little sock, and this little sock had these little detection, I don't even know what the word is, but they had a way to monitor the baby's heartbeat, that the baby was breathing. And parents were like, wow, yes, we would like to have that, because that will solve the problem of me being a new mom, a new dad, worrying about my little baby. And so what they did, like I said, was they went out, they went in, surveyed, I think it was like maybe 100 people, so we'll just use the square number, 100 people, and they wanted to ask 100 people, you know, is this something that you would see value in? Is this something you would purchase? And, you know, is this a problem that we would solve for you if we made this item? And they got good feedback from young parents, you know, who were really worried about babies. And one of the issues that they were going after was SIDS. So they wanted to make sure that you know, babies were monitored at night by parents. And so that was a problem they were solving. They wanted to solve that problem of anxious young parents and how they could monitor a baby who was in another room. So that's an example of solving a problem. Another issue that we can talk about is, let's say you're in, well, let's say we're in Tuba City. In Tuba City, is there anywhere that you can go to sit down, have a cup of coffee, and get on the internet? Because, you know, if you live in an area where you the only internet you have is on your phone, so you have data on your phone, but is there anywhere else that you know I can go to have a cup of coffee and get on the internet? Maybe I'm taking a class, and I need to have access to the internet. So one of the problems I would say is somebody who is in that situation, the problem that we can solve is we can provide them a space to have internet access and to have a cup of coffee. So again, we can survey people and ask, you know, maybe go door to door, or at this, in this state, as we are in the pandemic, maybe call people and ask them that question. Have you ever been in a situation where you wanted to be able to have access to internet? I mean, besides having to sit out in a parking lot outside of McDonald's, would you like to be able to come into a space where you feel safe and you're going to be able to have internet access and have a cup of coffee? And, you know, people will say, yes, this is what I want. I want to, because I have internet at home, but still isn't the best. And that happens even with me. I'm at home, and if my daughter is on the internet, and if somebody else is watching something on TV, and using data or the Wi-Fi, my goodness, it can slow everything down. So like right now, nobody is on the internet but me. I made sure that all of our devices are off. So we want to provide a space to people to come and use the internet, and then enjoy a cup of coffee, maybe even visit with other people. And again, this would be post-pandemic. And so we are solving that problem for people. So think about that. Think about what problem you are solving or you're helping to solve, because that's all we are as entrepreneurs. When you think about being somebody who's going to start a business, think about how you can solve a problem. And I will tell you that if you have like 5 or 6 ideas or even more of problems you want to solve, you know what? You're not alone. There are so many entrepreneurs out there that once they have one idea and they're like, wow, you know, I was able to do this, and now I see another problem, I think I can work on that problem. And so it's just like you start looking at these different ways that you can solve problems as an entrepreneur. And it really is, it's really about having that entrepreneurial spirit when you are that problem solver out there. And when you have ideas, you want to make sure that you devote a lot of time, a lot of your time and energy into doing that business. You know, I've seen people who have great ideas, but if they're not putting the time and effort into running the business, you know, nobody's going to do it for you. You know, you have to be the one to dedicate your time to running the business. I've seen people, even over this pandemic, that had an idea and then the pandemic hit. Well, you can still take your ideas. You just kind of have to be creative about how you want to make things happen. So one person may have started doing some work, maybe doing some volunteering work during the pandemic, and then really saw a need. And so, you know, you're able to take your ideas and you're able to what we call pivots. You kind of change the course that you're on, but you still are looking to solve problems. So this person said, you know what, I'm not working my full-time job anymore because of the pandemic. You know, the schools closed, and the position that she was in, really, she didn't have, you know, a whole lot to do. So she ended up just giving all of her time to the business and focused on the business full time. And yes, is it the risk that you take when you are a small business owner, when you're that entrepreneur? Yes, it is. You take the risk of just jumping in. I mean, just all in, right? So that you can focus on your business. And so that's something that you can do. I mean, I've also seen people who work a full-time job and then they have a part-time business on the side. You can do that as well. I mean, you just have to be able to manage your time. You have to manage your full-time job and do this here. And then if you want to do this part-time, maybe it starts out as a hobby, but you realize like, wow, I can make some money on this. So I'm going to do this. So just make sure that you know how to manage your time and you know how much time to put into the business, and also give yourself a break if that's possible. If you can give yourself a break, that's something that you'll want to look at doing as well. And what customer needs are you satisfying? So when we look at that, it's again the needs that you are satisfying. You're looking at the customer segments, and also you're looking at customer relationships and then the channels. One of the things I was talking to a small business owner about was they own a company, and the company they own is in California, and they're a native owned business. And so when I asked the question, what needs are you satisfying? I was kind of going through the business model canvas questions with this individual. And I said, what is it that you are doing with your business? I mean, what value do you offer your customers? And he says, well, we have a business that, I mean, we have a lot of competition out there. But one of the things that he said was, these corporations, they have to meet a certain quota in giving some of their business, just like the US government, giving some of their business to minority owned businesses. So he said what they do is they say, you know, we fill that gap. I mean, the product we offer is the same that anyone else is offering, but we fill that gap to show that we are a native owned business, we're a minority owned business. So we're able to fill that gap for people, and we're able to offer a good product, a good service, and everything else that comes along with it. So, you know, think about that when you are dealing with, you know, satisfying the needs of your customers. I mean, they may need something in that area that they need to fill. So things, you know, you start to figure things out when running a business, and you start to figure things out like, who is it that can be your customer? Again, going back to the customer is just a big issue, a big deal here on the business model canvas. And so if you get a chance, check out the business model canvas website, go there and look at all of the tools. There's some books that I have. I don't know if you can see this one, but this is value proposition canvas. And so this is actually a tool that I use with business model canvas. And there's actually a book also that comes with this. So there's a whole set of books, and I have used this, and I've been able to use this to figure out how to work with small business owners on the business model canvas, the value proposition. And the one thing about this that I like is this is a visual tool. And for me, I'm a visual person. I am somebody that will look at something, and I can do a better job figuring things out when I see something like the business model canvas, or rather than having something that's on a document, pages and pages of a document that you have to sit down and read. So this is an excellent tool. I would encourage you to take a look at it. And this is such a lengthy process to go through this. Our members at the Business Incubator, we actually spend quite a bit of time with them going over this business model canvas. So take some time, take a look at the website. Again, it's strategizer.com, and you'll be able to see what this business model canvas is. And you'll be able to see how you can start to figure out if your idea is something that you can make money on. I mean, that's ultimately what we go into business for, right? Is to make money. And we also want to help people in our communities. That's always something I hear with small business owners on the Navajo Nation, on the Hopi Nation, and other reservations, is we want to help people in our communities. Well, we can do that at the same time while we're meeting the goal of making some money, because ultimately when you're a small business, you want to be able to leave your full-time 8 to 5 job and you want to give 100% to your small business, right? So that is what the goal is when you are taking that idea that you have and you're making it happen with Business Model Canvas and other tools that you can find in starting a business. So this is going to end this part of the presentation. And the next part that I am going to do is going to be on, I want to start a business on, or what do I do if I want to start a business on the Navajo Nation? So what we want to figure out first is, what is your legal entity? So I have worked with business owners who are sole proprietors. They have a sole proprietorship. They use their own social security number to run their business. And usually this is the person that works out of their home, or maybe they travel and it's just them that gets paid from the proceeds of the company. So they're a sole proprietorship, and that's fine. I know a lady that has been a sole proprietor for over 25 years, and she runs a very successful business this way. So this can happen. Oh, and a tidbit of information. The other day, we were talking about sole proprietorships. How many of you knew that Ikea is a sole proprietorship? I didn't know until like 2 days ago that Ikea, the big, I don't know, what is it, department store, is a sole proprietorship. So and they have their reasons for being a sole proprietorship. I'm not even going to get into that because I don't know much about why. The other type of legal entity that you can have or create is a limited liability company. And when I talk to people and I think about, okay, if you're a sole proprietor and you're running a business, and if somebody walks into your business and they slip on the floor and they break their leg, then who is liable for that? If you're a sole proprietor, you become totally liable for that. Anything that you have, anything that you own could be up for grabs at that point because you are a sole proprietor. When you think about a limited liability company, the limited liability company is basically the company that takes and absorbs all of the liability. So you can create a limited liability company. That way, your personal assets, your savings, your home, your cars, everything like that is protected at this point. And also your business is protected. Or at least let's say the building that you're in. So you would want to take a look at what a limited liability company is if you wanted to do something outside of a sole proprietorship. And then, of course, as a partnership, if you're in a partnership with other people, you'll want to create a partnership and go through all of that process so that as a partner, you have so much responsibility within the company, and so do the other partners. And so you'll want to research information on becoming a partnership. And then a corporation. You can create a corporation if you are a for-profit organization, a nonprofit organization. If you're going to have a board of directors, you definitely will have that within a corporation. And so think about what legal entity you want to be, or what you want to create. And really, this is a personal decision. I was talking with my colleagues about this the other day, and it's a personal decision. It's a decision that you will want to research, or if you have a group of people, maybe some colleagues that you can discuss this with, you'll want to find out what is the best route for you to take as far as becoming what legal entity you want to become. And there's we'll be going through this process also in the next few slides here. And then once you decide what legal entity you will, then you'll apply for an employee ID number or tax ID number, and you will go to irs.gov to do that. And that's a pretty simple process. You can go and you'll have all of your information related to your business, and you will go to irs.gov, and within a few seconds, you'll be able to get an employee ID number, a tax ID number for your business. So that process is easy, and you can just go and take a look at that webpage and see what's there as well. There's a lot of information that you can learn on irs.gov. Again, as a small business owner, you want to take that time to do the research. You're not in a position where you can call up, or maybe you are, call up your lawyer friend, or you have a lawyer on retainer. You can say, hey, I want to do this. Can you get me all set up? Get it done. Well, when we're starting small businesses, we don't have that luxury. We have to, be that jack of all trades. We have to be the person who's doing the research on the business and checking into one area or another area. So just spend a lot of time reading and learning what you need to. And so visit the irs.gov webpage to learn more about the employee ID number, tax ID number. Oops, here we go. Oops. Okay. Starting your business on the Navajo Nation. Here we go. So I have to tell you that a few years ago, I would help people, friends come up and say, I really want to get my business registered with the Navajo Nation. Can you help me? And so 5 or 6 years ago, it was a task to do that. I mean, you really had to go and check out the website. And that's navajoeconomy.org at the bottom of this page. Go there and look to see what it is you needed. And then you had to print everything out. I remember printing pages out. I'm just thinking, to figure this out back then, I said, you know what? I don't want to have to keep coming back to this page to do this. I'll print like 10 copies of this application packet, 10 copies of this, 10 copies of that, because it did take a lot of work to figure out the process. And then here comes Change Labs. Change Labs is just always looking at ways they can help small business owners. They are always advocating for small business owners and trying to figure out how they can help small business owners. So they did the work for all of us. And Navajo, buildnavajo.org is actually a website that Change Labs created. And they did a lot of research to figure out this process. And so I am actually going to go and, I'm actually going to go and show you what that website looks like, because the website is just very informative and does show you what needs to happen so that you can get a business started. So let me take a second here. So this is buildnavajo.org. And if you type in buildnavajo.org, you'll find a lot of information there. But these are the resources, and you can actually print out the resource, and you can see this there. So the first step, and I hope you guys can all see this, want to start your business on the Navajo Nation. And so buildnavajo.org is where you can find this. And again, this is something that Change Labs did a few years ago. And this I know was no easy feat because it took them a lot of time to get this whole process figured out. And I'm so thankful that this is here because it sure saves me time. If somebody calls and says, you know, I have a question and this is what I want to do, and I'll go, okay, let me look, let me go to Navajo, buildnavajo.org, and let's see. So first question, we'll go through this. And I guess maybe I can ask for a volunteer. Is there anyone out there that would like to volunteer so we can kind of use your business as an example for this?
Hi,
Hi,
this is
Kristine.
Chelsea.
Okay, Chelsea.
Can
So
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you so much for volunteering. So let's ask
morning,
you the
everyone.
questions.
Okay.
So is your business already registered outside of the Navajo Nation with Arizona or New Mexico?
No, it's not.
Okay,
I'm
so
still in idea mode.
okay, well, that's okay because we can kind of go from there. Okay, so no, so we'll go over to this side where we do know. And then what is your desired business structure? Are you looking at being a sole proprietor or corporation, an LLC or L3C, which is a limit, very low profit company, profit company?
I am still trying to figure that out and want to know the pros and cons of the sole proprietorship and LLC, and possibly a partnership.
Okay. All right. So just from the little bit of research that you've done so far, what just so we can go through this, what are you thinking of? Are you thinking a sole proprietorship or a partnership or a corporation or an LLC?
I think the sole proprietorship.
Okay. Okay. So then we'll go down here to sole proprietorship here. And is your business based in Tuba City or Kayenta?
No.
Okay, so we'll go here to no, and then, so the document that we will be looking at is document D. So I'm going to just write this down. And then from here, we go down and it tells you what you will need to do for a sole proprietorship that is going to be based on the Navajo Nation and not in Tuba City and Kayenta. And we list not Tuba City and Kayenta specifically because they have the township has its own process, and it's pretty simple to the similar to this, and so does Tuba City because of their local governance. So if you do have questions, we can definitely put you in touch with people in Tuba City and Kayenta to help you with that. But for this example right here, Chelsea, what you will need to do is you will need to file a trade name registration application within the Secretary of State's office in your state. So and this is simple. Go to Secretary of State. Are you in Arizona, Chelsea?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. So you go to the Secretary of State's site and you'll go through and you'll look for file a trade name registration application. So you will do that and then obtain a federal tax ID number. So if you have not at this point, then you'll want to go to the irs.gov website and obtain the federal tax ID number for your business. And then submit your articles of incorporation organization to the Navajo Business Regulatory. And one of the things that has happened because of COVID, the Department of Economic Development has done such a fantastic job in helping small businesses through this pandemic. As you guys all, well, as you're maybe aware that the Navajo Nation did have the Navajo Nation Business Relief CARES funding grant that they offered to small businesses last year, and that closed, I believe it was back in October, September, October. And so that they made this process of filing with business regulatory an online process, which is really good. So now, and I actually went there to go look at the webpage, and it's still there. You can still file. And you can, and it was one of the items I have on the slide, so we'll go back and look at that in a little bit here. But you can file to register your business on the Navajo Nation, and that's all online. So you just need to fill out the information. You need to have your CIB available. I believe they're going to request that you upload some documents. So you can definitely take a picture from your phone of the documents they require, and then you can upload that to the website that way. Because we worked with so many people during that application process last year, and people could do this process over the phone or through their smartphone. And then you'll want to submit a Form 100 to the tax commission. And so that's another document that actually has to be printed out and completed and then filled out, sent to the tax commission. So that's the process to get your sole proprietorship registered on the Navajo Nation. And then right here it says, will you make this is if you do, if you're going to register a corporation, LLC or L3C, and let's say that the business is based in Tuba City, and it says, will you make transactions in other areas on the Navajo Nation? If you say yes, you go to H. If you say no, you go to G. So again, this process, this flow chart really gives you some help. It gives you direction around what you should be doing when you go to apply for your small business. So Chelsea, tell me, is this helpful for you?
Yes, it is. And this form,
go ahead.
This chart is found on
buildnavajo.org.
Okay.
And so on this side of the flow chart, if your business is already registered outside of the Navajo Nation, you're basically, again, answering the question, are you a sole proprietorship? Are you a corporation? And where's your business located? So basically the same process. So we have all of these resources here. It just tells you what you'll need to go, where you'll need to go to fill out documents, what you'll need to do along the way. But this is a lifesaver. It was for me when I was helping out friends who were trying to get businesses started and they were trying to get their business registered. I mean, this was like 5 years ago, and now we have this. So make sure that you check this out and take a look at what's there. The next item that we have, oh, you know what? I wanted to share. This here is the process that is automated to do the Navajo business registration. So this is just a few of the questions that are on that online registration process with NavajoEconomy.org. So it's Navajo Nation Economic Development's website. And so it just asks your name, your CIB if you're registered, if you're Navajo or Native American owned, your tribal, your chapter or residency affiliation, your mailing address. So it just asks basic questions, and you can answer those questions. And then when you get done, you will upload documents that they are requesting, and then submit that document, that application. So it's a simple process. If you are ever in a position where you need help, I know that there are folks over at Economic Development that are very helpful, and so you can give them a call, or you can reach out to one of us at Change Labs, and we'll be happy to assist with that, so that you can get your business registered on Navajo. And the next one that we're going to go over is, does your business require a business site lease? Again, we're going to go to the Build Navajo website, and then also some information that you will need to get is with NavajoEconomy.org. And so that's the website for Division of Economic Development. So let me share again the screen with, where is it? Hold on. Okay, so we're back on the screen that at buildnavajo.org. And so we are on the same website, buildnavajo.org, but we're at Does My Business Require a Business Site Lease? I will tell you that the process is a lengthy process, but if you follow the process and you stay on top of it, again, this is your business. And if you put all of your time into it, put all your time and energy into getting this done, you can get this done in it could be a few months. It may take a year or maybe a couple of years to get it done, but I've seen businesses work through this process and get this done in a short amount of time. I would tell you that my sister works for the Kanta Township, and she actually works with businesses that are trying to get their business site lease done in Kanta. And so that is her job. So the process will take her sometimes 3 or 4 months to get a business site lease set up in that community. Again, it's a little bit different in each chapter, each area of the Navajo Nation. So I will just, again, encourage you, if you're going to be doing this, make sure that you put a lot of time and work into getting this done. And so step one, well, first of all, we have the regional business development offices throughout the Navajo Nation. So depending on what community you are in, you should have a regional business development office located near you. So there's an office, I know Tuba City, Shiprock, Chinle, Whippoorwill, Fort Defiance, and then also Eastern Agency and Church Rock. And so their offices are there, and there again a lot of helpful people there in those offices that are willing to help you answer any questions that you have. So the first step is that you will interview with the local regional business development office. So we would just refer to them as RBDO, and you go to them, and the plan must show a feasibility of potential success of proposed business. So at this point, you should have gone through the process of applying for the, registering your business on Navajo. If you have a business plan or even a business model canvas document that you can use, you will share this information with them. And then the step 2 is to, from there, obtain a land withdrawal. And it just depends on which each chapter or each community's land withdrawal process is, or what land is available, I should say. So you'll want to find out about withdrawing, doing the land withdrawal for your business. Some communities come to mind that already have land set aside for business. Cornfields Chapter is one community I think of, and you probably think, well, gosh, where is Cornfields Chapter, and where, why do they have land available? Well, in that community in particular, just because I've done some work with a friend in that chapter, their chapter actually set aside land years ago, and they said, we're going to set aside the land on this frontage road here and in this area off of the main highways for business development. And so these chapters already have, this particular chapter already has land set aside for business development. And it just depends on each community. So again, when you go and meet with your RBDO office representative, you'll be able to find out what's available out there. And then step 3 is you will check with RBDO on the land status. And then 3.2, a secure customary and land users consent. So if you are in a community and you want to set up a business or get a business site lease in one area, if there are grazing permit holders that have grazing permit rights to one area, then of course you need to go through the process to get them to sign off on getting access to that land. And so again, it just varies from RBDO to RBDO. And then you'll have to work with a chapter, do a chapter resolution, And this is, it can be a simple process. You'll want to find out if your chapter has like an economic development team that might be able to work with you on drafting a resolution. So go and visit your chapter, chat with the people there, or you may be able to even get some assistance from RBDO on doing a resolution. And then what you'll do is you'll actually get on the chapter agenda, go to their planning meeting, then get on the chapter agenda so that you can present this proposal, this resolution to the chapter. And then they will have you, they'll put you on the agenda. Then during the meeting, you will present to the community. I've done this before and I am not fluent in Navajo. So it's important for my elders to understand, what the resolution is about. So I'm, I go and I make sure that somebody is with me that speaks Navajo fluently so that they can explain what the resolution is in Navajo as well. So that's something that I would just add there. So that way, everyone who is in that meeting understands what you're doing. And then 3.4, fill out the business site lease application. And then step 4, securing the site clearance. There's a lot that has to be done. Environmental assessments have to be completed, appraisal report, ethics clearance, UST compliance, and that's underground storage tank compliance that's conducted by the Navajo Nation EPA. Land survey, you can bring on, you can find somebody who can do this for you. And there are some I know Navajo-owned businesses that do this. So again, go to our ResRising app if you're looking for people to do some of this work, because the ResRising app that we have also has access to all of these different businesses. Or if you know of somebody on your own, that's fine too. And then you'll go to the, and do a procurement clearance. And then you'll get the certificate of good standing. So you'll have to apply for that as well. So there are quite a few steps to do this. I know of businesses out there on Navajo that know the process. I mean, they know what they have to do to get this done, and they just, knock one thing out after the other, and then they get to the point where they finish this. So don't look at this as like, oh my gosh, this is such a big task. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Just start the process and you'll become familiar with it in no time. Who knows, you could be one of those businesses that has, not just one, but maybe 2, 3, or 4, maybe more business site leases across the Navajo Nation because you're familiar with the process. Step 5, negotiating lease terms. Step 6, final lease approvals. And then step 7 is ongoing responsibilities. So it is, this is a lot of information. It is, but the information is here. Again, this is one thing that I'm so thankful for this process, because it is a flow chart. It shows you what you can go through, or what you should be going, what your steps will be, what steps you'll take, and what you'll need to do to get this done. So if you have any questions, again, you can give us a call, or you can give the folks over at Economic Development a call about this, because there are people there that are there to help as well. And then the next question that we ask is your business eligible for Navajo Preference certification? And you're probably wondering, well, what is that? This is if you want to apply. Let's say there's a request for proposals, an RFP out there that maybe the Navajo Nation has posted, or maybe one of the enterprises has posted. And in order for you to get preference for those RFPs or those contracts, if you are a Navajo Preference company, you'll be chosen over somebody who is not Navajo. So, or you could be chosen over somebody who's not Navajo. I shouldn't say you will be, because I'm not in charge of that process, so I don't want to say that. So which best describes your business? So if you are 100% Navajo owned and operated, you are eligible for Priority 1 certification. And then this again goes down. It tells you what your business structure is and what you'll need to do. If you are 51 to 99% owned and operated, then you are eligible for Priority 2 certification. If you are more than 50% tribally owned, so this is not necessarily Navajo, but if you're Hopi, Laguna, any other tribe, and you come in and apply for the certification, you are eligible for Priority 2 certification. If your company has less than 50% Navajo or other Indian or tribally owned and operated, you are not eligible for Navajo Preference. So again, this tells you the process to go through. What is your business structure? Are you a sole proprietor, or are you a corporation, LLC, L3C? And is your business registered with the Navajo Nation? Let's say you've already done everything ahead of this and you are registered. So what you'll need to do is, for a corporation, LLC, L3C, you will submit the following to the Navajo Business Regulatory Department. For construction, you'll complete the priority certification for construction form. For professional services procurement, complete the priority certification for a professional services form. And again, these documents are at navajoeconomy.org. I was just reviewing the site in the last few days, and all of that information is right there. And then you'll complete Exhibit A, financial statements form, Exhibit B, past projects form, because they want to see what projects you've completed. So you'll include that in there. And then of course you'll submit your certificate of Indian blood, submit articles of incorporation organization, your certificate of incorporation, and the certificate of good standing. And then for a sole proprietor, again, you'll fill out the form for construction, and then for professional services procurement. And again, you'll need to do Exhibit A, Exhibit B, and submit your CIB, and submit a document that establishes business ownership as well. So this is a lot of information, but like I said, the process is in a flow chart here for all of you to look at. You're able to see what you need to do to get your business started. And I'm so thankful for the information that's put together, because otherwise, like from my own experience, it is a lengthy process if you just go to the website and start looking at what you need to do. All right, I'm going to go back to the slide here. Okay, so I am on the screen where it shows the regional business development offices. I hope that you all can see that screen. But it just shows all of the offices for regional business development. Of course, we have one in Tuba City, like I said, in Shiprock. We have the Chinle Regional Development Office, the Whippoorwill office, and Fort Defiance, and then also the office that is located in Church Rock. Okay, so this concludes all of the information I have for you, and I do know that you may have some questions out there. So at this point, I am ready for any questions that you may have. Well, there was a question early when we first started, when we got started, and Alfonso, you are asking, are you talking about branding? So when we talk about branding, we're talking about, for example, what is your business logo? What is your business logo? What is your marketing going to look like? And so that branding with the group that we have in our business incubator cohort, we actually have a few steps ahead of doing the branding. We will finally share branding with or work on a branding for a company once they get to a point where they've completed financials and all of this. And you may have been referring to the branding when I was talking about the packaging and all of that. And yes, that would be the branding also. I have a friend who just started a company where she does beaded earrings, and she has her own logo. I mean, she has created this, and she has her brand. It's a little bee, and it's what she packages with all of her beadwork. And so, you know, when you see that, you know that it's her work. So that is branding, and that is part of the packaging that I was talking about. Yes, there's a question here from Monica. Would some businesses require liability insurance? And yes, thank you for asking that question, Monica. That is something that you will want to get early on once you get your business established. So you have your, you get your business registered. You'll want to purchase liability insurance. And you think, gosh, you know, that's another cost that I have to add, but it is important for you to have that liability insurance. And actually, if you are planning to do business with the Navajo Nation, they will require that you do have liability insurance. So you can talk to your insurance agent about liability insurance for your company, or, you know, there are other insurance companies out there that do offer that. So you want to make sure that you look at purchasing liability insurance for your company. Does anyone out there know what the Navajo Nation requirement for liability insurance is? What coverage they're looking for? If I recall, with the Navajo Nation, they want $1 million liability coverage. And so that is something that you can get from an insurance company, you know, and shop around for sure. Shop around and start with your own insurance company. One of the things I did, as I've worked with an insurance company before, after I left banking, I was working in an insurance office. And if you have a long-standing relationship with your insurance agent, go to them first, because if you just all of a sudden say, gosh, you know, I need to get insurance, and now I've been in business for 5 years, it's going to be a lot more expensive for you to start out to get insurance coverage right now than if you started 5 years ago. Okay, let's start with now. If you start with insurance coverage for your company right now, and your company is small, and next year and the following year your company is growing, and you keep paying into this insurance policy, in 5 years you may have to, you know, up that limit, or it is a limit. You may have to up that limit. And so you're dealing with the same insurance agent, and you can say, okay, well, now I need to increase my liability limit. So, you know, how much is this going to cost me? You won't see a big change, versus if I just come in off the street and I say, I need to get liability insurance for my company, and it's somebody that you've not worked with before. I think you probably could end up paying a lot more that way. So again, it's just part of starting a business. Part of growing your business is there are some costs that will come into play, but start taking care of those things now, so that way the price of things start to go up slowly, and you're not just hit with a big price or a big bill for your liability insurance in 5 years or so. So thank you for that question, Monica. Does anyone else have any other questions? Well, with that, I do want to thank you all for joining the presentation today. I hope that we were able to share information on the Build Navajo website, and you're able to go and utilize that website. And like I said, if there's anyone out there that has any questions for us, my email is Kristine@nativestartup.org, which is actually on the next page. So that's my email address. So you're welcome to email me. I can answer any questions. Like I said, if you need help with any other tribes, we can definitely look for resources for you also. So we're happy to help, and we wish you the best of luck with your business idea. And like I said, you know, it takes a lot of hard work, but we know, and we've seen so many small businesses succeed on the Navajo Nation. So, and other tribes as well. So take your idea and work hard, take these resources and use them, And I know that you will do really well with people who are familiar with what you're doing and people who can help you with this process. So thank you so much, all of you, for attending. Thank you, Marcia and Heather, also for getting us all set up here. And that will be it. Have a great day.
Hey, Kristine,
Yes.
pull up the change lab slide.
Oh, okay. Is that one here? I don't have
I
that
think
one.
it's after that one, but if it's not, let me see if I can find it. But for everyone out there, we have a webinar next week on the 28th, Wednesday. It will be with Crystal Dugai. She's a local artist in the Tuba City, Tunnelea area. So she's going to be talking about her entrepreneur journey. So you're welcome to register and come join us again. Have a great day. Bye.
All right. Thank you, everyone.